Hi there. If the following free content proves to be useful to you, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and checking out the pinned comment down below for more options to support my efforts. Thank you for watching, and please enjoy the video. And that's life. So anyways, just really quickly, I literally just spent 11 minutes explaining this, so I'll probably be a little more brief in my explanation this time. But just in case I missed this entirely, or the stream missed this entirely, the question was, should someone who's made it as far as developing a few apps in Android stick with Java or switch to writing code in Kotlin instead? So just really briefly, what is Kotlin? It's a Java-based programming language. It runs on the JVM, and it's fully interoperable with Java, which means that you can have a project which is all Java, 50-50, all Kotlin, and anything in between. Now, a couple important things that were announced recently at Google I/O was that Kotlin is now officially supported by the Android platform. So that's really important. Excuse me. And then as of Android Studio 3.0, if you upgrade to 3.0, Kotlin ships out of the box in Android Studio. So yeah, a couple things just really about it. It's less verbose than Java. It's got a lot of interesting things about it. However, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about them because I've actually written more Swift code than I have in Java, or sorry, in Kotlin. So I'm not an expert in it, but I wanted to give a heads up on this. And so the question was, more specifically, just that was an introduction to Kotlin. So the question was, should someone who's like made an app or two switch to writing Kotlin instead, or should they stick with Java, or what should you kind of do if you're in a position where you're kind of somewhere along the spectrum of beginner to intermediate kind of level, or even further along? Should you consider writing in Kotlin or switching to Kotlin? So there's no easy answer. There's no clear answer is the first thing. However, there's a couple thoughts I can share with you. So first and foremost, it is too early to tell if Kotlin will unseat Java as the de facto Java, essentially. It's too early to tell that, so I don't really care to speculate on that. However, there are some very good reasons to learn Kotlin, in my opinion. This is the opinion piece. A person is asking my opinion, I'm giving it. Yeah. So, first and foremost, here is kind of my answer. If you are a beginner, so maybe you haven't even quite written a whole app, you're a beginner, I would not suggest you start with Kotlin. I would suggest you start with Java. And here's why. Until if/when Kotlin becomes the de facto standard for Android development, which it is officially supported now, but I don't think it's going to unseat Java in the next 2 to 5 years. But if you're a beginner, the problem is, and this is the key point, most learning resources online are written in Java right now. You need to be, if you're a beginner, you need to be able to read, you are going to want to be able to read tutorials that are written in Java. There are not a lot of tutorials, and I'm not speaking of Kotlin tutorials. I'm speaking of like you want to learn how to make the complicated stuff. Most of the code is written in Java because Kotlin is a new language. So my suggestion, if you're a beginner, I would strongly suggest you learn the basics of Java first, at least until the extent that you can read Java code and follow along tutorials. That's my suggestion. If you are further along, maybe you're closer to intermediate or something like that, you've written a couple apps, which is the Omar who asked the question is sort of in that position. My suggestion is, if you're comfortable with Java, you've got the basics, dive into Kotlin. Absolutely. It's going to be employers would like to see that. It is, you know, the thing is they're going to relate to each other. There's going to be carryover if you learn Java and you learn Kotlin, so you don't have to worry about wasted time essentially. So really what I'm just trying to say is if you are in a position where you've got the basics of Java out of the way, go with what interests you. If you're interested in learning Kotlin, don't let anyone tell you not to. Really, don't let anyone tell you that because they don't know better. Don't let me tell you what to do. Just follow your interests. If Kotlin, and here's the thing about Kotlin, it's fully interoperable with Java. I think I'm repeating myself. The problem is I just explained this whole thing 10 minutes ago, so I literally don't know what I'm repeating, but it's fully interoperable, so you can include it, you can work it into a Java project. So start small if you like, blah, 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 follow your interests, that's that.